Quando Jojo Tonga Jotana Deja Lomar Jurwa Consulta, then the Tampa Suji Chairman, Sabban Robert Tamjan, Conquesting Jatan Janga, Mega, Jemega, Savana, Tameva, Wameva, Romeva, Tadatan, Dobanish. Jobo Sanja Manam Jatan Badela Cha. Good morning, everybody. First, please take a deep breath. Inhale and release your all stress, and exhale. Once more, please inhale fully and exhale. Once more, please inhale fully and exhale. So please relax physically and mentally and be here in this place and open our heart to all sentient beings to attain to Buddhahood. So today here, as you see, we are studying the way of the Bodhisattva, written by a great master, Indian great master Shantideva, and this we should know that. Since we extend our heart, open our heart to all sentient beings. The reason because Buddha taught Dharma teachings, not just to a small group of Buddhists or monks and nuns, but Buddha taught this Dharma teaching. Whatever Buddha spoke, so for the benefit of all sentient beings. This we should bear in our heart. Because of that, there's so much emphasis to develop our love and compassion to all sentient beings. The reason because, you see, every sentient beings of the six realms, we all are equally desire to experience peace and happiness. We equally desire to free from unwanted sufferings, obstacles, so forth. So, see, because of this, we need to follow the steps of the Buddha. For Buddha, every sentient beings are equal. See, there's no prejudice in Buddha's mind. This person is better than that. I want this person more happiness and then this. So Buddha, as we will study from here, who extended that mind and practiced for 3 limitless aeons and perfected in that path. And from that state, then Buddha taught all these Dharma teachings. See? So this is the Buddha's message. Whatever, even one word Buddha spoke, he spoke out of wisdom and compassion, not out of delusion. No. Buddha's concern is only the welfare of the sentient beings. So we just see this, understand this. Therefore, we take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, because we desire to free from suffering. We desire to have peace and happiness. So Buddha, Dharma, Sangha are the source of this. Not just temporary peace and happiness, but to achieve the ultimate state. No. That's why we, as a follower of the Buddha, were so fortunate, very fortunate. We totally follow Buddha. We have no doubt. No. We don't question Buddha is right or wrong. We just follow Buddha. We only make effort to understand what Buddha said. We only make our effort in the practice what Buddha said. So from that point of view, we are so fortunate. See. So there's in the Buddhist history, you see. This is important. Buddha came in this world over 2,600 years ago and taught the Dharma teachings, the first Four Noble Truths, as we all agree upon. What are those Four Noble Truths? To understand the suffering, and to understand the cause of suffering and to avoid that, and how to achieve the cessation of the cause of suffering and the cessation of the suffering. To achieve that, follow the path. No. So this is the message of the Buddha. So all the Buddha's teaching are within this framework. No matter whatever we call Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana, all the teachings are included within these Four Noble Truths. If you say highest Yoga Tantra, still the emphasis is how to purify the obscurations, how to reveal our mind. See, we all agree that we have to study, practice Dharma to become Buddha. So, to become Buddha is our ultimate goal. No, that's our goal. So to achieve that goal, then we follow the path step by step, depending to our individual's ability. See? So here, so much, no matter what kind of way it explains, all come to the mind. So the mind is very complex, sophisticated, and vast, infinite. See, that kind of complexity of the mind is fully revealed by Buddha and taught the teachings. So, as you know, nowadays, in the modern 21st century, science and technologies are so advanced, developing so fast. The communication, the transportations, all this, you see. Many people in the world, they admire the wisdom of the scientists who found the theory of the relativity, who found the theory of the quantum and physics. No? We have so much emphasis in the world nowadays, the economic, the material development. See, the idea is to have happiness in the life, to free from suffering. More we develop the country, better the country is, and the country is strong. No? But there's always side effect in this. No? Look at now pollutions in the world. No? Because the outer phenomena has a limit. Our body has a limit. There's limitation. Like we can eat certain amount of food. We can't eat too much. We can drink, but we can't drink too much. There's a limit. On the other hand, the mind has no limit. More we develop compassion, there's no limit. More we develop wisdom, there's no limit. The limit happens when we become Buddha. That means we achieve the limitless quality of the mind. No. So, modern science and technologies, no, they're working hard in many fields, material. Now they're also working hard in the mind. But from the material point of view, using very sophisticated technologies, machines, no matter how sophisticated, advanced the machines are, technologies are, still they are matter. They are no consciousness. They are not consciousness. The mind is the consciousness. It's an abstract subject, you know. So the matter cannot measure the consciousness, cannot reveal the consciousness nature. Sometimes we know all. So the wisdom of Buddha is inexpressible, beyond expression. So that inexpressible nature cannot measure by the matter, can only experience by the mind. That's why Buddha, after he renounced the kingdom, you know, he went to retreat for 6 years with great hardship, meditating under the tree. Even he achieved the space-like mental quality. Still, it was not full, revealed. He continued. Finally, then, under the Bodhi tree in Bodhikaya, he attained that state. Then he was called Buddha, the fully awakened one. No? Precisely seeing the nature of the samsara, the suffering of the sentient beings, the cause of the suffering of the sentient beings. How everyone has the potential to free from that kind of suffering. So because of this, then he started giving Dhamma teachings. the wisdom that he revealed step by step. So that's the Buddha's teaching. We all should know this. Buddha's teaching is education. It's educational. We study, we practice. And most important thing is what Buddha's message is: the suffering and the cause of suffering. Peace and happiness and the cause of peace and happiness. That demarcation within the state of the mind, not outside. How much you get from that, how much happiness you will feel. But instead, looking at the mind, when our mind is in such state, say this is a state of peace and happiness, and this is a state of cause of suffering. So Buddha giving us wisdom, method, how to eliminate the cause of suffering mentally, and the cause of peace and happiness, how to develop. See, these are the some basic. We should have that understanding. So more we have Buddhist education, study, then practice. So these two are important. Both are equally important. Sometimes too much emphasis on the study, not much practice, doesn't bring that great benefit that what we desire for. Well, we understood, and practice is important together. That's why it's called the relative and the ultimate. See, in the relative state, we have to study, understand. For the ultimate, we have to practice. Without relative, there's no ultimate. Ultimate is based on the relative. They are inseparable. See? So these are some important points. So here, this book is written by, as I mentioned, Shantideva, great master in the 8th century. And then it translated to in Tibet also in the 8th century. So since then, this book has been very popular for all the Dharma practitioners. So there are so many translations also from Sanskrit to Tibetans. Nowadays we also find many translations from Tibetan to English and other languages as well. Because the book is so popular. The popularity happens when it's useful, beneficial. So here, I will try to explain, and also, of course, as the author himself written, I have nothing to say that was not said before. So we all should know that. I have nothing to say that was not explained in the book. We should be humbled by this. Such an enlightened master is speaking from his humble, from his modesty, See? So there's, when you explain that there's a beginning, the actual section, and the last dedication. So the first actual beginning. So the excellence of Bodhichitta. Here in this text mentioned, respectfully I prostrate to the blissfully gone Buddhas endowed with the Dharmakaya, as well as to their Bodhisattva offspring, and to everyone worth of frustration. So that's the first frustration. So that here, say chapter 1, the benefit of Bodhichitta. And in this book, the excellence of Bodhichitta. So there are different translations on this, you see. So here what he said, to those who go in bliss, the Dharmakaya they possess, and all their heirs, to all those worthy of respect, I reverently bow. So that's the, let's mention frustration first, before, to remind the enlightened qualities of Buddha. We all rely on Buddha's wisdom, Buddha's compassion, and we get blessing from the Buddha, Bodhisattvas. So any practice we do, even we do shamatha, it's always good to sit, relax, and first take refuge in the Buddha Dharma Sangha, cultivate the mind, and then sit and do shamatha. Even we read, study, first we take refuge in the Buddha Dharma Sangha, and then study. All the different levels in the Theravada system, Mahayana system, Vajrayana system, we all take refuge in the Buddha Dharma Sangha. There's no disagreement. So to those who go in bliss, and here say to the blissfully gone Buddhas. So there are a lot of English translations differently, you know. In Sanskrit, what we have said, Sugata. See, to those who go in bliss, it's a Sugata. Or here, to the blissfully gone, it's the Buddha. It's a synonym. No, Tathagata, you know, Tathagata, Sugata, Buddha, the perfected one, the complete one. All this you can use different terminologies, but it's the Buddha. What does this mean? Is Buddha is to those who go in bliss, Sugata, blissfully gone, means well gone. The terminology you can translate it into Sanskrit, Sugata, well gone. No, gone, not returning. Gone perfectly. So there's different translations or different meaning on this. Well gone means samsara, we keep busy, but within in the delusion, no, based on the ignorance, then attachment, anger, hatred, all the mental delusion, we keep busy. Because of that, we can't get anywhere. No? Always obscured. Even we study Dharma, sometimes mind is obscured. No? So Buddha, beautifully, well gone, means purifying all those mental delusions, the cause of suffering. No? So then gone, non-return. Once Buddha achieved Buddhahood, It's never now return. Means return to samsara. No. Always in the Dharmakaya, enlightened state. Never return to the delusion, to the confusion. No. Then perfectly means purified all the obscurations. No. And perfected all the excellent qualities like the 10 powers, 4 fearlessnesses, 18 unmixed qualities. This all completely perfected. So that this all we can understand from the Sugata. So that this Buddha is called now. Then Dharmakaya, say, endowed with the Dharmakaya. This looks good. Or they possess the Dharmakaya. Means they are Buddha. So Dharmakaya is also Buddha, of course. The ultimate Buddha, Dharmakaya. But here Dharmakaya shows the perfection of the Dharma. Complete Dharma. Dharmakaya. Kaya means body. Dharma, the body of the Dharma. Dharma, excellent qualities. So Buddha is the body of all the excellent teachings. Knows everything. Nothing is missing. So Dharmakaya. So that Dharmakaya represents the Dharma. So Buddha Dharma. In the Uttara Tantra, you see, said there's a relative refuge, Buddha Dharma Sangha, we call. No? And then Dharma, all the teachings you see the text form, writings, study, realizations, all those different levels. And the Sangha, the community, the communities of the monks and nuns and the Bodhisattvas, highly accomplished. So there's the 3 different Buddha Dharma Sangha. Ultimately, Buddha is the alone refuge, because Buddha is the Buddha, Dasgong, the great sage. And the Dharma, that what Buddha possessed, the complete excellent qualities, the enlightened state, this Dharma. And the Sangha who studies, practice on the path, when it is perfected, becomes the Buddha. So because of this, Buddha is the Buddha, Buddha is the Dharma, Buddha is the Sangha. So here, Dharmakaya is the Buddha, but it's a Dharma. Dharma that Buddha has realized perfectly. And those teachings that Buddha taught from that state. See, it's a Buddha, Dharmakaya. When we follow the path, Buddha is the example who attained that enlightened state. Dharma is the one that we study, practice. Bodhichitta is Dharma. No. The wisdom, compassion is Dharma. Buddha's message is the Dharma. So that's the Dharmakaya. Then here we have, as well as 2 dear Bodhisattva offspring. Here it said, and all their heirs. So Bodhisattva means followers of the Buddha, who are inspired through Buddha's enlightenment, who is inspired to attain Buddhahood for the welfare of the sentient beings. The great Bodhisattvas who studies, practice the Buddha's teaching, not for individuals' liberation, but for all other sentient beings' benefit. That's the, their heirs. To all those worthy of respect, I reverently bow. So now here said, and to everyone worthy of frustration, means great arhats, the sharers, there's a hearer, arhats, the Patik Buddha's arhats, and also highly accomplished, the reverend abbot of the monasteries, great teachers. Those are object of our reverence, our respect. So I frustrate. So frustration means we reduce our ego, our arrogance. See, we won't frustrate to anybody, only to Buddha, or Bodhisattvas, or reverend masters. So here, so we just make humble ourselves and follow their path. So actually do frustration physically, verbally, mentally. See, mentally with the devotion. We are very eager, inspired to study, practice the teachings, bring into our heart this mental frustration, respecting the teachings. The teaching has something is offered us that we get some benefit. And praise, verbally we praise the Buddha's qualities, Bodhisattvas, Dharmas. And physically we do frustration. So all physically, verbally, mentally doing frustrations. We should keep in mind the most effective way to do frustration is look at our weakness of the mind and purify. Apply Buddha's teaching into our heart. Buddha will be pleased by this. Bodhisattvas will be pleased by this, by purifying our mental limitation. All the mental afflictions that we reduce step by step. Let grow the excellent qualities of the Buddha, the wisdom, the compassion. And Buddha will be very pleased by this. And this is the kind of very accurate way we can say we do the prostration to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And then next is writing. See, let me explain how to engage in the blissfully gone offspring code, which I have compiled and condensed in accord with the Buddha's words. According to the scriptures, I will now in brief describe the practice of the Bodhisattva discipline. Vow. Discipline means vow, So, Shantideva is not writing something which is not written by Buddha. Says, I write here according to Buddha's scripture, what the Buddha taught. Based on the Buddha's teaching. Because in the Buddha is the highest achievement We no need to research Buddha, you know. We just need to know Buddha, or what Buddha taught. Modern science, they have a lot to research, to improve, to progress, to know new things. For the Buddhists, there's nothing to know new things. We have to know what Buddha taught totally. No, that's our advantage. We should keep that in mind. No. If anybody is practicing according to Buddha or not, you see, there's nothing to know new things, see, because Buddha taught everything. So here Shantideva was saying, I write here according to the Buddha's teaching, scripture. Because he follows next, you see. The Chunjuk said in Tibetan. Is following the discipline, following the vow of the Bodhisattva. Entering into the path, through the Bodhisattva's path, means first you cultivate bodhicitta. See, there's aspiration bodhicitta, there's action bodhicitta. You cultivate those. Now to exercise this mind, what to do, how to do. So practice the 6 parameters. See, everything's designed, you see, so perfectly. So say, I will explain this, I will describe, or I will write down briefly what Buddha taught in the sutra. No. Then here, see, he's kind of making explanation, humbling himself. Here I shall say nothing that has not been said before. So he said, I have no new realization, no, besides Buddha. See, I'm also just a simple person following the Buddha. So, no? And in the art of prosody, rhetoric, way of writing, they say, take my skill in the crafting of verse, art of writing, skill. So I'm not well verse, saying. I don't know how to write so well. You know, I didn't study so much about the grammars, how to write all those, how to beautifully with the poetic, you know. So, you know. So I therefore have no thought that this might be of benefit to others. He said, no, yet thought I lack even the thought to help others. Because Buddha spoke already beautifully, and also great masters like Nagarjuna, Asanga, they also wrote so beautifully, you know, what Buddha taught. So I don't have much hope to get help from this. You know. Then you may ask, then why you are writing this? Why are you bothering writing this, you know? Then he says, I therefore have no thought to add single session heaven. I write it only to habituate my mind, see, just to remind myself. Buddha's teaching is so much, as you see in the Kanjur Buddha's, in the canons of the Buddha's teaching, hundreds of volumes. Even to read to one volume, it takes many days or months, you know. So he's saying, putting together all the essence. so that I can remind myself. So for my own benefit, I'm putting this together. So he's reduced his arrogance. He's not saying, I'm so well versed on these teachings, so I know how to write all these things, He's not saying these things. He's just saying, I'm simply remind to myself, I write. So when we start to practice, this is also very important. Bring down our ego, our arrogance. Those are subject to purify. See? But at the same time, it shows that he has a great wisdom, that he has the ability to bring all this together. For due to acquaintance with what is constructive, the force of my belief may increase for a moment, even just through these words. And if others equal to myself in fortune happen to see them, perhaps they might find them meaningful too here. So, for my faith will thus be strengthened for a little while, that I might grow accustomed to this virtuous way. Here, faith. There's a different faiths, you see. This called the faith of trust, the faith of clear, the faith of longing. So the faith of trust is we trust in the causality. When there's a cause, say, a cause of delusion, say like ignorance, attachment, anger, and physically, like stealing, like those things, they will bring the suffering. So understand that. It's called. When there is a cause of suffering, there is a suffering. So it's called. When there's cause of all the cause of suffering, there's a cause of suffering, there's a suffering. So trusting that causality. When there's practice meditation path, there's a cessation of suffering, enlightenment. So that kind of is called the cause of, the faith of trust. And then the faith of clear is seeing Buddha, something is enlightened, perfected in the excellent qualities, perfected in the purification. And Dharma is just such that allow us to see these things. And the Sangha, great practitioners. So seeing their qualities, this is called the faith of clear. And the faith of longing is then, I'm in the samsara. I want to become Buddha. I want to study, practice Dharma. It's faith of longing. So it's my faith. Will thus be strengthened for a little while. So through this power, this faith, it's not just only faith. Something. It's not just a blind. I should say blind faith. It's not just blind faith, but as mentioned, the faith that. So this will strengthen my practice, step by step. That I might grow accustomed to these virtues through this, then I may custom on this bodhicitta practice. Cultivate bodhicitta and practice the bodhicitta through the 6 paramitas. Then I get custom on this. and relative bodhicitta, absolute bodhicitta. Through these practices, I will custom my mind into the path. See? So then, but others who now chance upon my words may profit also equal to myself in fortune. So this also just making humble himself. There are some individuals who sees this writing and then read this, understand. So as I got the benefit, they may get some benefit. So he's showing his writing not just for selfish, this writing not just for nothing, but to help all those individuals in the world who are interested in this path, so that everybody can get benefit through this. So there's my thought of the bodhicitta may pervade to all sentient beings. So when we study, when we practice, also meditate that way. First, without high expectation, first look at the limitation we have. And then, so to purify those limitations, mentally, physically, I purify this. So this usually I say, it's nothing to do with the spiritual. This is something practical. You know, when we're hungry, we eat, isn't it? It's nothing to do with something culture or anything, you know. Anybody who is hungry, they eat, you know. Even animals, insects, anybody. So when we know that there's a suffering, how to free from suffering? Every individual has their own way how to handle that. Here in the Buddhist, such a skillful way how to free from the suffering. It's a practical approach. It's not just saying prayers, expecting something may come out of blue, you know. So, please give me blessing so that I get something. It's not that. We are making the cause. See, if you are hungry here, so please give me some blessing so that I can get lunch here. You know, I'm so hungry. You know? That may not solve the problem, you know. Instead, how to get the lunch, you know. So like this. I write here down these wisdoms of Buddha. So I myself custom on this, habituated, practice them, and I get benefit. And at the same time, there are some individuals who are interested, can get same benefit. So Buddhism is not just only blessings, no. It's the action. That's what I call action bodhicitta, which will come, you know. So these are the first, so taking refuge, doing frustrations, and then way of writing, the motivation, all this practical approach, how to do things. Now next here, what we have in this text is having gained this body with the recipients and enrichment, so hard to find, which can fulfill the wishes of every being, if in this lifetime I don't actualize its benefit, when later will a perfect endowment with one come, can it come? No? So here saying, so hard to find the ease and wealth, whereby the aims of beings may be gained, if now I fail to turn it to my profit, how could such chance be mine again? So basically, it's now you have heard of the four turning the mind, the four thoughts, precious human life, impermanence, so forth. Here's a precious human life is talking or describing. This is called working basis, physically working basis. As shown in a jewel ornament of liberation, the primary cause is Buddha nature. The working basis is precious human life, So here, working basis. Even though we have Buddha nature to achieve enlightenment as a primary cause, as a seed, every sentient beings endow this quality. Yet everyone has the ability to attain Buddhahood. Ask the question, if hell beings has the ability to become Buddha, likewise hungry gods, animals, other human beings, demigod and godwins, say no. Only precious human life. What is the precious human life? Here's so hard to find. Ease. Here's a leisure. Sometimes we use leisure, and here use different, the recipients. And then wealth. Here use wealth. And this text use enrichment. In some place use endowment. So whatever the conditions it makes, the 8 leisures, free from these 3 lower realms. One way, free from the born in the absence of Buddha, so forth. There are 8. I don't have to recall all. There's 8, leisures. And there's 10 endowments, So one who has these 18 qualities is called precious human life. It's very hard to find. See, because to have this precious human life, one has to have first some moral discipline, shila. That's the foundation. Then supported by the 6 paramitas. Because when we study, practice Dharma, like in the monastery, we need support from others. Food, clothing. Those, they come out of the result of your practice of generosity and moral ethics. Patience, we need discipline. We need effort. We need contemplation. We need wisdom to know the Dharma. See, if you tell the animals, this is Dharma, practice, animals have no idea what you're talking about because they have any seed. See, so that's why it's very difficult to find. Now here say, whereby the aim of beings may be gains, means there are 3, so I think they use also different terminologies. There are 3 persons: inferior person, mediocre person, and superior person. There are 3. See, once we have this precious human life, even at least inferior person, we have ability to earn a cause to be reborn next life as a human or God realm, not to born to the hell realm or hungry ghost. No, we have that kind of ability. The mediocre, one who has that kind of ability, looking at the state of samsara, from the formless world to the hell realm, you see there's no absolute happiness. We are all a condition of suffering. So I have been suffering in the samsara for a long time. Now I dare not stay in the samsara. At the same time, I cannot help others as well. So I personally want to achieve arahats. No? Sharavaka's arahat, or Buddha's arahat. So it's called mediocre person. Superior person, no, as I suffer, I don't desire this. I wish, I want fully to free from this suffering. And so, all the sentient beings in the samsara are the same thing. So I must utilize this precious human life to help all sentient beings and cultivate bodhicitta to attain Buddhahood. So it's saying this much, there's an opportunity to have the precious human life. It's more than wish-granting jewel. Chindamani. Wish-granting jewel may be so precious, but can give us only some benefit of this life, wealth, food, not more than this. But this precious human life has all the opportunity to create a cause, peace and happiness in the samsara, and peace and happiness of the nirvana. See, so we must utilize this. You say here, whereby the aim of being may be gained. See, our aim. What's our aim? What's our goal? Even in the samsara, those who don't believe anything, uneducated, they keep so busy their life. Why they keep so busy? To free from suffering, to have some happiness, some peace, even maybe just to get a good lunch. See, we all keep busy, you know. So same thing now, Buddha's teaching, Buddha's giving us wisdom, a more profound wisdom, how much capacity we have, how much ability we have to achieve our goal. Oh? So Buddha said, don't waste it. See? This life will go. It's like a dream. So look at past time, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40, 50 years. It's like a dream. You might have enjoyed so much, but nothing special now. You might have wonderful, luxurious life, nothing special. It's a dream. Oh. But still, we desire for peace and happiness, isn't it? So what's the best choice? Giving us wisdom, Buddha say. Not as a Buddhism, not as a religious point of view. Generally, capacity we have. So we have to kind of discard this boundary. Sometimes we are trapped in the tenet. So I am Buddhist, so I have to do this, I have to do this, We just, destroy that boundary. Especially nowadays, we need that. Universal, universally what kind of ability we have, opportunity we have. How the mind is profound, complex. See? So this is how, first look at how precious it is.